A lot of my research is very definitely applied, and so I've made use of a variety of industrial sources as well as government resources such as Department of Energy and NSF. When I was a graduate student in the 1970s, I was introduced to what I think is a very effective model for funding applied research by my advisor, the late Don Harleman, who was the director of the Parsons Lab. And the Parsons Lab used to be called the Hydrodynamics Lab. And a lot of us who were graduate students at the time were funded by research assistantships, and these were to do physical model studies. This was before computer models became so prevalent. So we would make models that were scaled versions of some prototype facility using sand and plexiglass and wood and running water. And we would run a battery of tests to see how a certain facility would operate, how a discharge system for an electric power plant or an intake for a hydro station would work. And it was really contract work. It was something that a commercial lab might do. But the difference was our contract, our grant, was always had a stipulation that when we had come up with the answers that the client wanted, we would be allowed to use and our graduate students be paid to use the model to play around and try to generalize the results for a semester or two. So this was a funding model that supported any number of SM and PhD theses at the time. And of course, we're no longer doing much in the way of physical models, but the same model applies to computer models. Starting in the 80s, we did a lot of work with models of coastal circulation and transport, and they were applied to things such as the design of the outfall for the Deer Island wastewater treatment plant. So our students developed these models. Part of the funding came from consulting companies like Metcalf and Eddy and CDM that were responsible for the design of the outfall system. So we would develop the model, we would share it with them, students would help run it. It was in concert with the companies. Some of the students got jobs with the companies afterwards, so it was a very good symbiotic relationship doing basic research that had a very applied bent to it.